And we're live. We're back. Welcome to another episode of Bartalk.
Bartalk.
Every time. We have Lori on again.
Whoop, whoop.
Part two, because one was not enough. What?
You didn't realize we just synced that? Part 2.
Mm-hmm. We're in sync. Oh, you have coffee all over your mouth.
Sorry. This is a mess
Yum.
already. I've been up since 3:30, so give me a break.
Breaks are given.
Whatever.
So my mother's on again. We're having her on to go a little bit more in depth as to how the situations that life has put her in that you can listen to on part 1. Okay. So go back to part 1. Has shaped the way that she runs the businesses that she has now, and how you guys can take the shitty situations you all have been in your life and use them to help you create something awesome in your life.
That was perfect. Way to go, Abigail.
Thank you.
No pressure at all.
And I'm done.
No.
I'm out for the episode. Okay, so if you haven't listened to episode part 1, which is episode 13 of Bartalk, I would really highly suggest you go back and listen, even if you just kind of skim through it. Listening to some of my mom's stories, it's going to be very helpful and insightful for this episode, because we cannot unpack every single story again. We'll be here for 5 hours.
Literally.
And so welcome back, Mom.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, we're excited.
Pretty awesome.
I think this one's going to be so good, though. Sorry. Because I was talking to a couple people. Sorry, like brain. I was talking to a couple people, and we kept touching on the whole mental toughness part of it. But it was you just explaining all of your stories, and literally, like she said, we'd be here for 17 hours if we talked about every single one of them. So I'm just excited for you to actually sell yourself, because what you're doing is great now. So
great. Talk first about what your job is, what you do.
So, of course, I can't do anything just straight out one thing. I feel like life is holistic. Everything is connected, And so what I learned growing up from living with a hoarder, what I learned about all the I'm going to just say it straight, all the mind fuck that I experienced growing up as a kid. And also watching my mom prop her life up. She would drink and do a lot of prescription drugs and all kinds of things, and then take a lot of vitamins and work out and do all these things. And so I was always really picking up on the health and wellness part. And so she was kind of introducing me to that holistic sort of a lifestyle in her wacky sort of way,
But what do you...
So I put all of that together, and my business is Align and Rise with Lori. And so I am, by birth and by nature and by nurture, a home organizer. And actually by nature and by nurture, a life coach, a mindset coach. And then through just decades of doing research and, I didn't touch on anything about my sister, but my sister was diagnosed with MS when she was in her 20s. And we have been behind the scenes always looking for some natural something, some natural solution to living better and whatever. And I tell you what, she's the toughest badass, and you want to talk mental toughness, and my sister has it. But all of that led me to what eventually I was with Arbonne and natural products and health and wellness and that sort of thing. So even though I like to drink and I like to have fun, I have shifted the way I eat. Mm-hmm. But I take, I watch what I put on my body, what I put in my body. And so all of that I feel like comes together because they all play a part. All of them hit the pathways of
was
peace.
Was it like something well, I guess everything was kind of big, but was it like one pivotal moment for you where you wanted to go more holistic, or was it just over time you bringing things into your life that to get a more natural path? You know what I'm saying? Because you obviously weren't always that way.
No.
You know, so
No.
was it one thing that you were like, okay, this is the nail in the coffin, I have to change? Or was it just like over the years of trying to figure yourself out and knowing what you wanted to do in business with your life that you just kind of brought it together?
I think it was not especially life leading to business. It was natural flowing. I mean, I grew up on Captain Crunch, Pop-Tarts, and like Swanson frozen dinners. You know what I mean? We were the test case generation for frozen food shit.
But do you
And it
think-
doesn't work, just so you know. It doesn't work at all.
Do you think it had anything to do with you having kids? Because I know that you went homeopathic when you had, having me.
Before having you. That was the thing. Okay, so one thing does lead to another. What it is, okay, when it comes to life, as you approach a thing, I see the conventional method, and then I see, okay, I don't know if that's going to be something that I want to do. And so when it came to you, they wanted to induce me into labor, and you weren't ready to come out. You were like, no, I'll be jamming up here in her stomach. So you were due on August 12th, and on August 25th, you're just like, yeah, I'm cool.
I was like,
I'm
I don't
swimming.
want to be a
I'm
Leo.
happy.
I think I'll be a Virgo, bitch.
Okay, just saying. I'm going to wait just a quick minute because you are a Virgo, up and down, side to side, you know?
I told you, I'm a perfectionist. I was
I
like,
don't know what
not
the fuck
yet.
any of that shit means.
Not yet. August 25th.
I come up in this house and they're like, what's your sign? Well, what's your moon? What's your rising sun? And I'm like,
Okay,
I
that's my
am
mom. That's
July.
a little bit more.
I'm a July. That's what I am.
No, but
Cancer.
I am a July 8th.
you're a
Cancer.
Cancer.
I
had to
I
think
don't
about
even know
that.
what any of that means.
It means that
means
she's
we're
very
good
emotional. She's very emotional.
It means
I don't know. I just like
She's a water sign.
okay.
moving on.
Before we
Are
get
we
into-
Just quick
talking
side note,
about-
I don't know anything about that shit.
So
and I don't
anyways-
want to know.
Wait, when is Stefano's birthday?
He's the 29th of August. He's a Virgo.
Is that a Virgo? The 22nd is Virgo.
Bitch, I don't know.
When-
He
when
told
is
me
his
he was a
birthday?
Virgo, so I
28
believed
yeah,
him.
he's a Virgo. He's
They're
a Virgo.
losing their
He's a
focus,
29th.
aren't they?
29th. He's a 29th. Oh shit, sorry, Stefano. I know your birthday. Okay.
What are we talking about
Anyway,
here,
so
folks?
we're going back to inducing you to get me
True.
to
The
labor.
holistic way.
Basically what happened there was they were going to break my water. I wasn't willing to do the Pitocin drip. And they were going to break my water. And I was like, hell to the no. So behind the scenes, I had a doula. And I asked the doula, okay, this is what they want to do. She said, you need to talk to this woman. And she was local. And she did homeopathy. And she talked to me for an hour without even knowing who the hell I was, diagnosed me, so to speak, gave me the remedy.
What was it?
You really want me? Okay, it was pulsatilla. Don't just take that, though, because it's not for everybody. Okay, you have to know who
No, I'm
you-
just thinking because as I've done homeopathic remedies, I've been prescribed pulsatilla several times.
You have. You're a couple of things, but we're not going to talk about that either.
Continue.
They're the problem. It's not me.
Continue.
They're on
Good.
astrology, homeopathy. Excuse me.
You. Continue.
So I took the pulsatilla and it made me half-ass crazy. Serious. I mean, like I took it first dose, nothing. She said, if you don't feel anything, take another one in a couple hours. I took another one in a couple hours and I started cleaning the house where I was staying like, oh my God, the air vents and shit like that. I should have known right then. We got a problem, Houston. And then the next morning I was supposed to go into the hospital and be induced. I went to bed. I had the deepest, best sleep that I've ever had, probably in my life. And then I woke up nauseous as hell, but I still cooked them breakfast. I mean, I was insane. I was getting ready, cooking breakfast. I put on makeup. The hell?
And then she was like, I think that I am going into labor now.
I think I had to be at the hospital at a certain time because they were going to put me into, they were going to induce me.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't need to break my water. I think you just need to check me. So I got in there and they were like, yeah, wheel me up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was there by 8 and you came out at 10:35.
Damn.
And she did natural.
Oh yeah.
So was it having kids though that made you like go into this whole
Well, that experience going into this very natural labor, knowing that it was directly related to that remedy, it piqued my interest. I had issues with allopathic medicine for different things, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with allopathic medicine, but for my family, it has been more effective in most cases to do what you can control behind the scenes, and then use allopathic when absolutely necessary. And most times I have not found that I've needed that approach.
Right.
So as I had children and was giving them remedies and doing things, taking, natural cold press, blah, 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 vitamins and, minerals, and doing all the things that I can do behind the scenes, working out, changing the way I eat. Obviously the Pop-Tarts and Captain Crunch thing wasn't working. So I had to switch that to something that was more healthy. But I mean, that was even a process. I mean, it's just like, inch by inch where everybody is, it's like wherever you are, it's not like you just flip the whole switch. You kind of work your way over to a thing,
Is part of like your business model and like helping other people, teaching them how to do things holistically?
What did you just ask me?
Like, like your business, like your organizational, or like helping people really is your business. Like, do you teach them how to do things holistically?
Holistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the word I missed. Yes. Well, what I do is I teach them the next step. Honestly, it's too overwhelming to be like, okay, here's what you need. You need all these things. I didn't learn it that way. I learned it one step at a time. And so every step that you take in the right direction, it has a butterfly effect. And we did talk about that last time. It's just you move in this direction and you get a measure of energy, success, mental clarity, peace, whatever it is. And you're like, I want more of that. And then you'll keep moving in that direction, and then something else will come. And so it all unfolded for me. And as I grew and took all that in, especially given where I came from, and this is, so here's where I'll take it back, and I'm not going to get into all the things, but as I was growing up, I experienced a lot of trauma. I had a lot of things happen to me that would leave a mark and an imprint that would stay and could stay throughout your whole lifetime, depending on how you handled it. But I've always been a hopeful, and I believe this is something that was implanted within me. I've always been a hopeful person. I've always wanted to be the best, to be the light. I wanted to bring the mood up at my house. I was the joker. I was all of those things. I was the mediator. Let's bring peace. And so I think that was something within me. And I want it for other people. I want it for myself, and I want it for other people. Life is hard. And if you can get just one thing, if you can get control of just one thing, it has an effect on everything.
So that holistic approach, I guess what you're saying is that it depends on where their starting point is,
right,
as to what kind of holistic approach you're going to take. So like maybe the next holistic approach is just getting yourself to bed at a reasonable hour. Or maybe the next holistic approach is starting to supplement with something. Or maybe the next holistic approach is, hey, let's try and go for a walk in the sun 2 times a week,
Yeah.
Because if I'm getting what you're saying correct, it's like you meet them where they're at, and then what holistic means for them depends on where their starting point is.
Yeah, it would be. So some people are going to call me and say, I just want to clean out my closet.
Right, because you also do homework, yes. Yeah,
right, so that's why they all fit together.
Yeah.
So it's like all this stuff is in the back of your mind because
that's holistic.
The time.
That is a holistic approach to living, is keeping a clean space, because there's a level of peace that you feel when you have a space that is tidy. There's
100%.
When if I come home and my room's a mess, I don't want to do homework in my room. I didn't want to do homework in my room. I don't want to be in my room.
Right.
I definitely don't want to sit and meditate in my room, or go to sleep in my room, or do whatever else. I don't know, read a book in my room. I don't want to do those things because it's cluttered and it's chaotic, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Right.
And so if your entire house exudes this uncomfortable, messy feeling, I think it almost makes you feel like you don't have this under control.
Right.
None of this is under control. And if the rest of your life is out of control and then you come to a house where you feel out of control, it's like the entire energy of the house and in yourself completely shifts.
Which is a really good point to make, because I feel like when people talk about doing things naturally or holistically, they're like specifically referring it to medicine, and it's not. Like people are like, oh, well, I have a headache. Oh, well, I'll take the holistic approach. It's like, okay, but your life is also taking the natural route and helping yourself in other areas, which is, I actually kind of never really thought about until now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never would really have considered I understand keeping a clean house gives you more mental clarity, because I'm like that too. Like, if I come home, my brother and Cornelius or if Cornelius, my brother, and Stefano are a mess, I'm like, I can't get shit done until I clean.
But you don't think about that as healing.
Right. But I would never have thought of that being like, oh, well, I'm taking care of myself in a holistic or natural way to be able to do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's like, imagine having to do all of your computer work, but you're in the back of your mind, you're like, the dishes are piling.
I can't do it. I can't. I have to do the house first, because I'll freak out. Yeah. I won't be able to focus on anything if I have other shit to do.
So here's the beautiful thing. When you get to the space where most people, not everybody's living in absolute chaos clutter, but they'll have that room that's chaotic. It's always in the back of their mind. That closet that's chaotic. It's always in the back of their mind. We have like a running to-do list that's going all the time. And it's just, you kind of do this mental check. Tick, 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 tick. I can't deal with that right now. And we go back. And we're scrolling all the time. So it's mental energy. It's the physical energy. It's the overwhelm. And what it does is it steals your creative energy. So when you're trying to be, everybody has a gift. Everybody has something that they're offering this world. I don't care who you are, you have something to offer this world. And if it's cluttered with either physical ailments or with, and I'm not saying, but I mean with physical issues that you need to deal with, or you should deal with. If you have mental issues, traumas that you have not dealt with, if you don't know your next step and you're stuck and you just stay there, or if you have clutter all around you, all of these things play together. All of them have an impact. And so I kind of, in my roundabout way, I was like, why couldn't I just pick one thing, But the truth is, well, my superpowers are absolutely home organization. I think I came out of the birth canal with that. And the mindset stuff. My mother was like, she was always telling me, that I should be a counselor or something like that. She didn't always say it in the nicest way. But the truth, the thing is I do have the ability to see all the pieces, because I understand systems, to see all the pieces, find the root, the thing that's really important, and say, okay, let's look at just that one thing. And then in life coaching, it's about respecting the other person. So all of my experiences that I came through, I didn't always have the healthiest approach. I would tell people, this is what you need. As I grew as a life coach, into that space, I started to understand, actually, everybody knows what they need. My job is to ask you the right questions so that you get your next step, not your whole picture even, just the next step. And that's the hard thing sometimes, is that that's why we get stuck, because we want the whole picture. But really, we just need that one thing.
Well, we kind of talked last week. We did talk last week about a lot of the traumatic things you went through. And I think a common theme, right? Cheers to that. I think a common theme was the way that you got out of it, which we didn't necessarily talk about, and I kind of want to go into that. But the summary was, you just took it one day at a time. Like, everything that you went through, it was like, it's just the next day.
Oh.
And so how did you do the next thing? And you can pick out any particular circumstance. It can be the situation with Harold. It can be the situation with Jack. It could be even the divorce. It could be getting out of Long Beach. It could be moving to moving in with your dad. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But like, what is one situation that you would say where you really had to apply the approach of, let's do one day at a time, let's do one thing at a time? And what did you do?
All right. So the thing that we didn't talk about much was the divorce. And I feel like this is a good place for it. All of them apply. But in that situation, I had made a decision that I knew was going to disrupt all of my important people. Okay.
She's talking about the divorce of Abigail's dad.
Right. So I divorced my husband of 25 years. And I won't get into the details of that. But what's important about it is, my goal was, okay, this is going to be traumatic on everybody because we've had a habit and this has been our situation. However, I'm going to be my goal was love and above. I said it over and over. I want to be love and above. And it's like, my ex obviously didn't understand that at all, but it was one day at a time. He's like, this is love? I don't think so. But every day I was trying to do, how can I concede? How can I make this so that we can sit across, the aisle from each other at weddings, at, baby showers or baptisms or whatever in the future. I wanted my kids to feel balanced. And so there were so many questions, so many decisions that had to be made that I had no freaking idea what they would be. And so I had to stick a pin in things. And I had to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. I mean, that's something that I've been doing for years and years and years. Becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable, not having all the answers. So staying in the moment and do the next right thing. And that's why I try to tell everybody, what's the next right thing that you can do? You don't need to solve the whole problem, because there are things that aren't even on your screen yet that will come into the screen. And if you don't, if you try to figure all that out, like, you haven't even met some of the people that are going to be the players in the scene here. Right? So what you want to do is, what's the next right thing to do? What's the next most important thing to do? Okay, I'm going to do that thing. And they watched me do that over and over. And I'm talking making decisions about finding a place to rent, putting our stuff in storage, dealing with my dad, getting sick, passing away, dealing with everything.
What were some of the things that you did that helped you get through every day? What were a couple of the things that you did that kept you, because part of the everyday is people get caught up in this is so miserable. So what did you do in your day-to-day or your week-to-week that helped you to stay grounded?
So one of the next things that I was supposed to do was, I felt like I was supposed to become certified as a life coach. So I focused on that too. I added that into the mix. I did an online course. And
so you kept yourself a little busy.
I kept myself busy, but busy on things that were growth oriented. Oh my God, I have something in my eye. Like, what the hell? Excuse me, folks. I kept myself focused on what was important. I made sure that you guys were okay. I meditated. I prayed. I didn't, like, if you want to give up anything, I don't care if you're broke as a joke. And this is not because I'm sitting here with a couple of personal trainers, but the gym would be something that I would be sitting there with a sign on the side of the road going, we'll work for, gym membership. Like, seriously, because I wore a shirt that said, I work out to burn off the crazy because it's funny, but that was for real. That's why I say it's holistic. You got to do all the pieces.
Well, yeah,
it's not like I could sit in the grass, right. and there's something to that. I made this joke in the last podcast. I'd sit in the grass and I'd put my hands and my feet, bare hands in the grass so that I could get grounded, because there is energy work that happens there. I prayed because I'm a strong believer. God has carried me through every single thing I've been through, and he hears me. And I just need to reconnect with him. It's not him connecting with me, but me connecting back with him. And then go to the gym, eat the right foods. Like if I had a bad week and I was eating a whole bunch of shit, and that would happen sometimes, I would feel it mentally, because when I eat a lot of carbs and sugar, I mean a lot of them, that's a depressant right there. It's just a flat out depressant. It's not because, I mean, I feel like crap inside, but mentally,
Well, it's like a dopamine spike and then drop.
yeah.
You eat that stuff and it feels really good for a moment, and then it drops
Goes
and
too
you
far.
feel like shit. And so, I mean, it is a chemical thing. That's why.
And it's a really negative chemical thing for me. Okay. So I don't know about everybody. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I ate like shit and it didn't have an effect on me for a lot of years. But when you get to my space, and of course, I wasn't even I was dealing with challenges, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, when you're if you're trying to when I try to comfort myself with food, with alcohol, the wrong things, it's bad. So like I come up to this season, we're like right at the beginning. It's party season. We got Halloween. Halloween kicks it off, man. And then it's like, bam, we got Thanksgiving, Christmas parties, you know.
Yep.
By January, you want to jump off a tall building, you know. It is not good. It's like, no. I mean, you wake up feeling like shit. So I try to teach and train people. Okay, you're still going to party. You're still going to go and have fun. But you've got to supplement. At least wake up and have like a good protein shake. Wake up and give your body something that it could be like actually using, you know, instead of giving your liver like a complete overflow, you know.
So eating decent, eating well,
All of it.
working out,
All of it.
praying,
All of
grounding
it.
yourself, that all helped you in your day to day. What there are a lot of people that have gone through divorce or potentially going through divorce. Everybody has had conflict with somebody important to them, or has had a bad conflict with somebody just in general. It's just happened. So, and you had to deal with that with somebody that you were married to for 25 years, almost 25 years. And so there was a lot of betrayal. There was a lot of emotional connection, tying and untying, and it's very heavy and it's very hard. So for people listening to this, how did you deal with that? How did you deal with the bitterness, with the resentment, because I know you weren't trying to leave the marriage that way, but I know my father, and that's how he left. And so how did you deal with all of the hurtful things, the conflicts, the fighting, the disdain? And how do you think that can carry on to somebody else who may be going through something like that with somebody that they love or loved, or somebody they care about?
So first, I want to give you a little grace and just say I didn't do it all 100% right.
Sure.
If I was
think
going to do it
anybody does
again, I would have said this to my kids. Zip. I didn't say zip. I didn't say everything. I was I was very mindful of that, and I didn't want to speak about, because this is the thing. He didn't do any specific thing to me. I didn't do any specific thing to him. So it's not like I have this one bitter, like he did this. But I wanted to always hold in my heart, he is the father of my 4 kids. And no matter what, if I wanted to look back and be like, we wasted 25 years. No. I have 4 amazing children. I learned a lot of lessons. You know, I was good for him. I did good things for him. He did good things for me. They hurt me. I hurt him. But they were good for me. They grew me. I had to make a decision.
Oh my God, my
Maybe-
stomach.
Was that your stomach?
Dude, my stomach just had a conniption.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, carry on.
Sorry for the interruption. That was
It's
so
okay.
loud.
I'm digesting.
I thought you burped.
That was my stomach.
It's okay.
Continue.
It's okay. So, what are we talking about? No.
What to do when people hurt
No,
you.
seriously, what it is I wanted to honor the fact that we did spend 25 years of our lives together. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I had souls that I wanted to stay connected with him as much as I could, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to badmouth him. I think it's really important that here's the bottom line, the life lesson for everything. You're going to be digging in piles of shit your whole life. Dig for treasure.
Yeah.
That's the goal is I'm not going to be sitting here like, look at all this shit. I'm just looking for treasure. And when I find it, I'm like, look at this. It's covered in shit. That's okay. That's okay. We can wash that off. You know?
It's essentially when you're dealing with conflict, to find the good in not just the situation that they've potentially put you in or the situation that you've brought yourselves in together, but also in the person that you're having conflict with, because, you know, people are people and there's good and bad in everybody.
I live my life that way too. I can agree to that. Like, that's how I think of a lot of things. Like, people that you don't get along with or people that you've been in conflicts with, like, okay, you might be going through shit for a while and you might not like them. They might be on your hit list. But at the end of the day, like, it's not a regret, and you shouldn't ever really resent people because there is good in something or a lesson to be learned, or like the way that you had reacted to them, you might want to react differently if that ever happened again to somebody else. So like, there's always something that you would learn from whoever it is that you're in conflict with.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And you had 4 beautiful kids. So like, what could you really, I mean, even though he sucks and even though things happened, it's just like the good in it is your kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's also, I agree with that.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of radical. I've been on this mission of looking for, first of all, I believe that I draw to myself everything that I have, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been on a mission of looking raw and real at me. How do I value myself? How do I see myself? This is how I go. When I look in at a coaching session with somebody, you know, we're going to have those kind of conversations too, because I'm going to be asking them, you know, what do you think you're worth? I mean, they could be coming talking about business and they're trying to level up in their business. They could be talking about relationships and they're trying to level up in their relationships. But, you know, wherever you go, there you are. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm still bringing the same things to the table that bring a result that I'm kind of like, why do I keep getting blah, blah, blah? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's me. That's me. Mm-hmm. So I need to shift my thinking, my energy, my vibe, my view on life, my approach to people. Then I will get a different group of people.
Mm-hmm. You know what, though, too? I think there's a little bit of this is for me, I don't know about for you guys, but there's a little bit of a selfishness in handling conflict maturely and well with people, because I want to be able to leave the situation with zero guilt. I want to be able to leave the situation with the knowing that I can go to bed at night and know that I handled it the best that I could. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I can be like, this is, so I mean, I guess it's selfish. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me being like, oh, growth. Yay. You know, like, I handled it well this time. But I want to be able to end whatever situation I'm in with somebody that's bad and be like, I handled this the best I could. And that's all I can say about that, and how they decide to handle it from there is up to them.
Well, that is a beautiful approach. The truth is, though, you know, you're going to make mistakes, and you look for patterns, and you look for, you know, it's always good to do that self-introspection. You don't want to get stuck there. You don't want to stay in that space, but it's always good to look both sides. And it's nice, you know, sometimes guilt has a purpose. It has a good purpose. I mean, I have, good Lord, all the things that I have to feel guilt.
But you don't want unnecessary guilt. I don't want...
Zero unnecessary guilt.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
Zero.
Enough...
And we carry a lot of that shit.
Right. I was going to say, I've got enough of that from other situations in my life. I don't want any more.
No, but the things where you could call them growth opportunities, where you say, okay, what part of this is mine? Not guilt, Like, I mean, when you've spoken to somebody like an ass, or, when you've handled yourself badly, that's different.
Right.
But I mean, you can just, again, I wouldn't stay, because what I do now, we're talking life coaching specifically. I don't really get into counseling. Counseling has a place and it's very helpful. We talked about that last time. You just don't want to live in the past. That's not helpful. But the patterns, we can talk about, let's look at this one thing, How can you move the needle on that one thing? That's what's important. Again, it's still like you're trying not to. Life is so overwhelming. We live in our heads so much now. And it's just this wheel of the things that we should do, need to do, should be better at, should look this way, ba 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 ba, and it's like, quiet the damn noise. One thing, for God's sakes, one thing, and then focus on that one thing. And when you move the needle even 1 degree on that one thing, you're in a whole new space.
Right.
What pattern do you think that you see in yourself that's bad?
That's bad?
Whether it's, like a bad pattern that you continue to either bring into your life or that you do. Whether it's relationally or personal or whatever.
Girl, be up in my business.
I'm fucking interviewing you.
She be up in my business.
Spill the tea, Lori.
I have one.
Well,
I have a few.
I have probably quite a few if I was going to get there. I mean, I'm elevated probably, well, hopefully. I mean, the best that I've ever been in my life. We are moving up. But yeah, we're going to be dealing with things for a long time because I don't know. I mean,
what's the pattern, Lori?
I don't want to talk about it, man.
We can all do one.
A bad pattern that we have.
Probably. I mean, it's hard to narrow
shit together.
It's hard to narrow
find
it
one
down.
relationally.
Probably for me, it would be wanting to have all the steps. I want to know all of the pieces, and so I guess that would go down to control.
You're a control freak.
Now that was a little extreme.
She's not a control freak.
I'm asking. I said I'm like, it's a question mark.
I am a reformed control freak. I can tell you that growing up in the house I grew up in, you damn right, I was a control freak. It was kind of like, somebody's going to be the adult here, and it's going to be me. How old are you? 12. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I was going to make sure that,
Well, and after Harold,
have you eaten? Have you done your homework?
Well, and after Harold,
Right.
it was like, I will always be prepared, and I will always be in control.
That was different. It took me a while to realize that I was preparing for the Armageddon all the time. But I didn't realize I always carried these heavy purses, and my kids would make fun of me.
Oh my God, they would weigh 50 fucking pounds.
Would you have,
I would
everything
be carrying
in them?
it. Dude, I could have asked for anything. I would have been like, I need a stapler. She's like, I've got it. I could have been like,
I had a mini
Mary
one.
Poppins
I did
purse.
have a mini stapler.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I needed, if I needed
camping matches that would stay, waterproof camping matches, I had them.
If I needed a pair of underwear,
That's funny.
she probably
that
had an
would have been
extra pair of
accidental.
underwear in there. If I needed if I was hungry, she's like,
I would have food.
I got a sandwich.
She's like,
I got a 5-course
array.
meal up in here.
Well, that was something.
She was Mary Poppins with this bag.
I didn't realize, but what I was, that was from the boat. That was from the time where I didn't have what I needed when I needed it. Mm-hmm. And subconsciously, I had ibuprofen. I had snake bite remedies. I had a pocket knife with all the little stuff, flashlight, camping matches, you name it, man. I could have been on The Price is Right, which you don't know anything about.
Yes,
what are you talking about? Yes, we're not.
Oh, you
I
watch
am not
Nick at
that
Night
young.
or whatever reruns.
You barely let
I'm
me
not
watch
that young.
Nickelodeon for kids.
Which was so crazy, by the way, when you told me that the other day.
Okay, let's get back.
So listen, if somebody comes to you, right, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh,
This tells you what's off in your life based off of
Oh God.
the body.
Listen, so if somebody comes to you and they ask for your help, right? Do you use the situations that you have been to or been through to kind of pull from what you've learned from those to help people? Or is it just like, do you ever actually talk about those things with people? Do you actually like get deep with your clients? I guess you would call them your clients, right?
Yeah, well, or not patients, but so give me an example, because you're saying talking about health. What do you mean? Are you talking about when they...
Or I mean like all of it, you know, like one of your biggest things is like organization. And like that comes, I mean, you grew up with a hoarder. And even though you might have said that you came out of the womb with that, like you also did go through something that you knew you didn't want to be like, or you were learning how to organize or help or like prove something wrong or to be better than or whatever it might be to get you to this place. Like, do you use as an example? Do you talk to people about that?
So the way that I use that is usually to give them that grace. Most people feel a lot of shame around their space. I feel like people come out of the womb, or they come up into adulthood, and they feel like some of the shame that people feel is, I should know this. I should be able to do this. I'm missing some woman gene or something. And the truth is, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do it. I know this for a fact. I've met too many people. They're amazing at so many other things, but they don't have the organization gene. They don't see it the way I see it. I can look and I can see where it goes and how it goes. So I'll use it to let them know, first of all, I got no judgment. Second of all, this doesn't overwhelm me. Even if you see me breathing heavy, it's only just reminding me of the past. It's all good. But the truth is, it's like, I know, I come into their space and they're like, I had one woman that said, I bet you've never seen a place this bad. And I'm like, actually, I have. Mm-hmm. I know exactly where to start. Mm-hmm. I know how to take you through this, and I can get you to the end. Don't worry about it. Cool. And I have zero judgment, and you can feel that. You see, that's the other energetic part. It's like, if you don't do the work in here, I can say one thing, but you would feel something else if I didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. Truth is, I know exactly what to do in that space.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is a selfish question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You really? Bro, that was just for drama.
No, actually, it's because I have been dry. If you hear a lot of...
We didn't talk about any of our...
It's because I need actually water and not that.
I can't believe she was sipping on fucking... Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but I can't believe she was just sipping on Fireball. Like, who does that?
Hey, no shame in this place.
I mean, I'm totally judging right now, but also not judging at all.
Okay?
You're drinking out of a entire... You didn't even put it in a glass. You're drinking out of a cold brew container.
I told you I was judging, not judging.
Okay.
Whatever.
Selfish question.
What is one thing, the major thing, that each kid has taught you?
Ooh.
No, I have
like one character trait or lesson, maybe negative, hopefully positive, that each kid has provided to you.
No, well, I'll tell you one that's overall, and then I can give you some individual. Overall, humility. No. There's nothing more humbling than having kids, man. I tell you what, you think like I'm coming in here. First of all, I didn't say it on the last episode, but I need to say it now because people need to know. I had never changed a diaper before I had my first kid. I never babysat. No, none of that. This whole thing, and they don't come out with instructions. It's scary as hell. Okay? Mm-hmm. I thought I killed Leah on the way home from the hospital because we didn't have one of those things around her neck. And she got to the house and she was like all like this. I thought, damn, we've already broken her. I mean, it took me a half an hour to calm down. She was still alive. Thank God you all come out like.
Which is so funny too, because by number 4, you could like drop the kid from a 2-story building and you're like, they'll be good. Just don't worry about it.
Well, that's a bit of a
Sit
stretch,
on the pot.
but yeah.
Sit on the pot. You'll be
Not
fine.
a 2-story building. However, Leah taught me how to laugh at myself. Okay, and I told you that before. Mm-hmm. You taught me restraint.
Really? That's fucking it?
what?
You taught, okay, as a kid, I mean, part of what you're going to put on your tattoo is because you've taught me resilience, like keeping going, enduring.
I think of you on those days.
I think of you on those days because I started to do Arbonne. I mean, I don't know how many of you are going to be watching that would be able to relate with, you've been home for 20 years, you had a degree, you were starting off, you were kind of becoming a badass, then you started having kids and you just stayed home and you raised the kids. So you quit being a badass and you lost half your vocabulary because you're just talking about, I love you, you love me, we're a happy family. Mm-hmm. And so it happens, like you kind of lose some of your brain cells, die off. Mm-hmm. And then you're trying to come out into the world, in the business world again, and your confidence is gone and you don't know what's going on. And I would watch Abigail doing all the things that she was doing, At that time, I believe we were coming up and it was track and it was dance and it was working out and it was just all these things. And you were, trying to make it happen in school. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm having a hard day. I've been kind of blown off by some people. I've been embarrassed by some people. I've done some shit wrong and it made me feel small. And then I would think of you and I would be like, you know what? I'm going to keep going.
You're going to cry.
Hey, you asked for it, bitch. You asked for it. Okay. And
she asked for the truth.
I wrote that in a card to her, because it's true. It was like there would be these days where I'm like, I cannot do this. Mm-hmm. I mean, and some of you will relate with feeling that small. Others of you will not, but you'll be able to relate with just persevering to the next step. And that's what it was I needed something. And I would look at my kids and I'd be like, I'm not giving up for you,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sylvia, what the fuck did Sylvia teach you?
Sylvia taught me how to listen and to listen well.
Yeah.
She's because if you listen to her, you hear different things. It's not what she's saying, it's what she's not saying. Mm-hmm. And I always listen for what you're saying. And she's never telling you what she's saying.
No, because you grew up in a family where it was, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, yeah. And they were all straight up direct and, oh, hell. Except for my mom. My mom was not direct. I never understood her. I love her to this day. And I'm kind of like, what does she mean?
I still don't understand
what does she mean? Because she wouldn't say straight out. She doesn't like saying directly what she means.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think some people just don't feel comfortable saying directly what they mean. They think they're going to hurt your feelings. They're going to break relationship. Whatever the hell it is. And it confuses people like me because I'm direct. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I don't. So Sylvia helped me with that. And she also, she helped me to understand just simplicity and beauty, That's like sometimes I don't slow down for that stuff. And she helped me with that.
Sylvia needs to move to Brazil or something. Like she moves she's slow. Like in a good way though, not in a bad way. Like she moves slowly.
Island time.
Yeah, she's island time all the time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I wish I could be that way because I'm like New York time all the time. I'm like, I gotta be here.
And if the two of you could blend together?
Yeah, because we'll be sitting there and we're like,
well, I know the reason why we get along. People think we're psychopaths because we move a million miles a minute.
Yeah, we do.
I'm the 55-year-old version of that, but yeah, I'm more than New York time.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I get it.
And it's like, good God, man, where do I go to get away from myself?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's just sometimes it is exhausting. Other times it's kind of like, keep up, people, But Robert
every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, Robert.
What is he teaching me? He's teaching me so many things. I don't.
He's taught her that you should really consider your age when you have a child.
What?
Because you'll be raising them for 18 years.
Well, because you might be too tired to deal with.
Because she had him at 39.
I was.
My mom was 30. My mom was 40
I
when
was
she had my brother.
39 and a half.
Yeah. And how did he turn out? He a TikTok sensation.
Hey, look.
Hey, he's successful
let me
as
tell
shit
you, he's
right
making
now.
more money than both of us.
Yesterday,
No,
but today he is.
This boy is making money doing art commissions, and he's like a whiz doing MS Paint.
Yeah,
but
he's
the
good.
thing is, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
what the fuck is MS Paint?
Microsoft Paint?
Yeah. And I mean, he makes beautiful artwork.
What?
Don't ask me. I don't
I'll show you some
understand.
of his stuff after. He's really good. Like,
Yeah, show
He's
me.
really, really
which
good.
is crazy because I heard MS Paint is like one of the fucking wackest things to use.
Yeah, and
It's
he's like a
from
whiz.
1972.
Whatever.
doing?
He's like, bam, he's mastered that shit.
Anyway, sorry. What has he taught you?
Perseverance part 2. Okay? Because
What it means to have a boy.
is that what it is?
Boys
is that
are
what it
different.
is? No, because from the time his sweet, adorable, beautiful little face came out into this world, I have not understood this child because he literally, I mean, he's the sweetest thing, but his hard drive just does a clean sweep every 30 seconds or so.
That's
And
every
then
dude, Mom. That's what I'm saying. This is
Literally.
how it is to have a boy.
I tell him,
You
go
you
to the
had 3
door and
girls.
get your shoes. And he'd go, and I could almost see the change. Like he was going with a purpose, man. And then he lost his focus, and all of a sudden he's back here with a ball. And I'm like, what the hell are you even
Tracy's
doing?
laughing so hard because she has 2 men in the house.
Oh my God.
And she lives with this every day.
Terrible.
I'm just
Like
thinking,
the
his
hard drive
mom.
clean sweep just hit me on another level. Like that shit was so real. Like that was just perfect.
That's what it is having a boy. Every single parent that I train, that I've interacted
Oh my
with, they
God.
all talk about their sons versus their daughters. They're like, my daughter, she just will get it. She gets her rhythm, and once I teach it, when I teach her to do it, she'll do it, and she's responsible and she's got it, and she'll get it. And they're like, my son. Now, I think the cool thing about men is when they get that sense of personal responsibility and they take ownership of it, like they just freaking take off with it. But
when does
until
that
then,
happen?
When does that happen?
When is that?
well, that's what I'm saying. Until that
is that when
happens-
they leave? All of you, by the way, all of you, it's when they leave.
No, it's
the
when they start.
girls and the boys.
It's when they start making money and getting pussy.
No.
Yes, it is. Tracy's like, no.
No, it's not.
because the hard drive is still
I
clean.
literally live with 2 of them and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's not the answer.
Okay, so that was anecdotal evidence right there. Okay,
Maybe it's making.
if you want to
No.
know the truth, I will tell you the truth. It never changes. It never changes. What it is you let them be them and you be you, and don't expect them to be you, because men are not women and women are not men.
Facts.
Okay?
Facts.
Men are very singular focused. You know, I heard she had me listen to a podcast of a crazy son of a bitch who was talking about,
Andrew
that.
Tate.
I was just about to say that.
And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is radical.
Hey,
but
I'm gonna get canceled for this, but he has some points.
okay, well, you
Depends on what
gotta, okay,
podcast
you remember how I talked about picking
It
through
depends on
the
what
shit
podcast
to
you
find the
listen to.
treasure?
It's true.
No, you gotta pick through the shit and find the treasure, and then you'll find the treasure. Basically, he is right on this.
Mm-hmm.
Men are very simplistic creatures.
Yeah.
They're not full of drama. All they want, really?
Pussy, food, money, respect.
What was the first one?
Pussy.
Yeah. That's kind of it.
Respect.
has to be in there.
Respect
Food and toys.
Money, assets.
Some money.
Right.
Assets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Toys. They want toys. So that's kind of it. And then everything else is like,
Yeah, if a dude's
you know,
mad, if
doesn't
a dude's,
compute.
If a dude's in a bad mood, like brain filters through 3 things. It's like he either needs sex, he needs food, or he needs respect from somebody.
or he needs to go play with his toys.
Right.
All right.
Now, we women, complex creatures that we are,
We kind of want the
We're just
same
pains in
shit,
the ass.
except for
We
instead
really
of sex,
want
it's
the
like
same
emotion.
thing.
It's like intimacy.
we want them to understand that all the things that they say and do,
Are wrong.
between when their brains engage and when they disengage, all stay in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that little offhand comment doesn't go away. We're spaghetti. We connect it all.
Our hard drive, we have like 10,000 terabytes of data in our brain.
There
when
you
they
go.
sweep, we collect.
Right.
Like
We have a lot of terabytes up in here,
Yeah.
and we remember. And you have a gigabyte, and then you got to switch hard drives. So
They don't even have a gigabyte. I'm serious. Literally, he's walking to the door to get his shoes. Shoop, comes back with a ball. Hi, Mom. What's up? And I'm like, we're still trying to go to school, and I still need you to get your shoes. Okay. And he goes off, comes back with who the hell knows what else, but it's not his shoes. I have to get the shoes, put them on in the car. So those are the things that I have learned from my children. And there are more things that I've learned from my kids. You all have been shaping in a lot of ways. I can say this for sure. What's been important to me is making sure that I continue to work on me so that you can see that no matter what age you are, you can change, you can grow, you can become something else, so that when you face hard things in life, like right now you're starting off, you're a badass. You're doing all these things. You're going to hit a roadblock. Something's going to smack you right upside the head.
Thanks, Mom.
It happens.
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't.
it's
She's
life.
like, you're going to be completely annihilated by life.
Hey.
Get ready.
I
ain't
don't look
perfect.
forward to that even a little bit. Not even
Me
a little.
neither.
If I could cushion all of your falls, I would. But you
Actually,
know
nah.
what? Andrew Tate would disagree.
Yeah,
he
nah.
would say, you got to toughen these bitches up so that they
Actually,
can be
no.
part of the world.
He would say, I'll be tough, and I'll control your life, and I'll pay for everything you want, baby.
Yeah, not about that
That's
control
because he's a
thing.
billionaire shit.
Yeah, he makes like 10 mil a week.
That's beautiful.
I don't
That's a
wanna know
beautiful
how.
thing. The point is, when you do hit the walls, I want you to remember, okay, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You can do a 180 and completely reset.
Yep.
Facts.
Pivot, baby, and move. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing, you can look at life and say, oh, it's done. Literally, a 1 degree shift in my life changed everything.
That's awesome.
And that's that.
So wait, so before you end, tell the people that are listening, like, legitimately what it's called and where they can find you. So that way you can promote your business a little bit.
So if you want to work with me on any level, as far as health coaching or life coaching or home organization, I have a website, alignandrisewithlori.com. I am on Instagram at alignandrisewithlori. I couldn't make it any longer. I tried, I did. My email address is lori@alignandrisewithlori.com. So that's as long as I could make it. I did the best that I could.
It's a good name. That's catchy.
So, you can go on my website. You can see all of
Her
the things
social
that I
security is
438. No.
okay, bro. Shit, brother, we cannot be doing this today.
Beep, beep.
Well, thanks, Mom, for coming on again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for
that
having
was
me
awesome.
again. I appreciate it.
That was a good episode.
Hello.